Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Once again, here at the Mentors Show, where we bring you matters mentorship and just how we integrate it to other disciplines, because we feel that we learn a lot and we gain a lot from mentorship. So today we have your usual Ezron, welcome to the show, and our guest Kakai, welcome to the show, and the smiling lady Michelle, also here with us. So today we are discussing something interesting. Actually, we'll be touching on books in relation to, mentorship. And, just before we start, maybe can we just remind our viewers who really is a mentor? Because it has been said that, mentors are ladders, mentors are those people that push you, mentors are coaches, mentors are feathers, they help you to fly and stuff like that. Mentors are reference points, and so to say. So who really are mentors?
Nice one. To me, mentor is a very simple statement. Is your better self.
Yeah.
That is your mentor, because you either have somebody who's better than you. That is your mentor in any perspective, in any way that you want to grow in life, in anything you choose to do. Okay. There is always somebody who has passed that stage and is better than you.
Oh.
So that is your mentor.
So that's your mentor. Kakai?
To me, I would say mentorship is all about being purposeful, of what you would want to make as a difference within your environment and beyond your own environment. It's an impactful desire and thought that is within you, that you would want it to come out. So definitely you would have to look up to someone better than yourself to be able to emulate or make it put it in practice for you.
So someone who has actually gone ahead of you in one way or the other, depending on your various discipline or that which you are focused on.
Yes.
That's awesome. Michelle?
I think it's all that the three of you have said, but we can look at it as a mentor being someone that is helping you get to the best version of yourself. They may not be everything you've ever wanted to be in life, but they're just a picture or a blueprint of what you'd want to be or what you'd want to become. They're pushing you to who you'd want to be in the best or better version of yourself.
Okay. So one thing I'm actually picking up is that mentorship is like followership. Like there's someone that you're following after. Their footsteps, they have some results, they have something that they're doing that is in line with either your passion or your potential. And that reminds me, in the good book, there is this line that says that let us not be lazy, let us not be slothful, but be followers of them who through faith and patience, have inherited and gotten something that they were doing. And so that becomes key.
Yes? If I may, you see, also a mentor could be someone who challenges you.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Both emotionally, mentally, physically, even idea-wise. That is a mentor, because without that person, you might not get yourself to think. You might not get yourself to act. You might not get yourself to see.
Sure.
So those three things are very important. If you find somebody or someone who gives you the outline of what to think, what to see, how to act, that also is a mentor. Because the analogy that creates people so much into believing that mentorship is more of motivational. It is not. So that's what I'm trying to cut off, because
it's really not.
At any given point, you have to focus yourself. You have to come out of your own self in whichever way. Nobody will force you to come out of yourself, because that is what you are supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really our viewers need to understand is the greatest strength that you have is actually yourself. And so when it comes to you being mentored, also try and also focus on your own self. So know thyself, and things to do with self-awareness and stuff like that. And our parents are our first mentors, because of how they bring us up. They are the first people that we actually learn one or two things from. And then we also have teachers, we have elders in the church and pastors and stuff like that. And so this level continues to grow. And so where we are really trying to bring a demarcation is you don't just view a mentor, in a certain way, because these are people you are connected to or you have chosen to be with.
These people that are mentors, they not necessarily have to be biological people.
No.
Yeah, I think we are in agreement in regard to the same.
And they can also be biological.
Yeah, and they can also be biological.
Of course.
So definitely, within what you are honoring, then you definitely have to accord them the respect that they deserve. Yeah, because the baseline is you cannot become what you cannot
Yeah, of course we are told children honor your parents.
Your parents.
Yeah. And so
they can't
and
be
it
like
goes
your,
ahead
yeah, they can't
and
be like
mention
your
about the other
parents
mentors
in
and
some
stuff
other
like
way.
that. Yes, Wezron?
Parents are the first mentors.
Yeah, sure.
After parents, you go to teachers.
Exactly.
Now after teachers, now you go to information.
Yeah.
So where do you get the information? We have the books.
Yeah.
We have the people.
We have movies.
And we have movies.
Yeah.
So those are part of you getting to know who your mentors are. Because
Exactly.
those are the areas, the specific areas and places where you can get to pinpoint and say, that is what I would like to be. That is what I would want to be. So what are the steps I'm supposed to take?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is what I wanted to add on top of what you said.
Oh, sure. Now, talking about information, and this is where actually we are focusing on today, because one of the best avenues and best opportunities that we get more information is on books. I've seen books like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and what have you, being transformed from books to movies and stuff like that. And also we can say most of the movies that we watch actually are derived from books, and so it's just a way of how it was scripted. And one of the reasons that we get is actually the purpose of learning, because from books we learn, and the purpose of learning is for us to be able to have a way of thinking, have the capacity to think and actually make sound decisions. And so I wanted guys just to try and demystify how is really books related to mentorship, because someone once said that if you want to hide something from an African man, then you can, it's money, yes. Hide it in a book. And from your perspective, should we take this as an insult or should we take it as a wake-up call? Michelle?
Wake-up call.
A wake-up call, okay.
That was a direct answer.
Yeah, to what Michelle has said, it's a wake-up call.
Okay.
Because you see, some mentors, you may never ever meet them, but you can meet them in books.
Oh, sure.
You can never ever meet them in person. The likes of Einstein.
Yeah,
he's a man long gone, but a lot of inventions of science and a lot of things. Whatever we have today is a modification of what Einstein left.
Okay.
And it's being made beautiful every now and then. So it's a wake-up call to every person.
It's a wake-up call.
To every person.
Ezron? Is it an insult? Is it a wake-up call?
It's both.
Okay.
One, because it's a wake-up call to those who don't read. It's an insult to those who read, because we feel undermined.
Exactly.
Because we are not...
I agree with
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Imagine I have, let's say, this section of the library.
Let us use the sides.
In my book. Or in my house.
Yes.
This is a book I interacted with in the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And I haven't quite had time to go back to the books that I've read during the year. And you decide that you come to my house and hide money in that book.
Yes.
Is it an insult because I haven't gone back to the book I was with in January?
Okay. I think the statement of hiding the stuff in there was how do you call this thing? Was a subrogatory statement, because it is an insult in such a way. It's not about money. It's the information.
It is the information.
So the person supersedes and said, the information is money. Because
it is knowledge, and knowledge is what is power.
You have the power.
Exactly.
And the reason why he used money per se was because money is powerful. It can either change or it cannot change.
Okay.
Because if it changes you as a person, it changes you to be a better person. If it changes you on the negative side, also it has its own effects, right?
Yes.
So that is why I was saying it is both. People who read sometimes feel, why would you have such a prerogative statement for a group of people?
Okay.
So we are supposed to have it and say, reading should be a culture, right?
Yes.
Let us embrace the reading culture.
Okay.
Let us have the spirit of knowing things, because I believe books are documentations.
Yeah, true.
100%.
Yeah, sure.
In as much as we go for the online documentation, the pictures, the words, books are really good stuff. Because as you said with Albert Einstein, for instance, when he was doing his practicals, his experiential science stuff, he was documenting them by writing them.
Exactly.
At that age, there was no voice recorders, there were no video recorders, but he was documenting them. So whatever we see on the on the videos are documents of what have been depicted from the book.
Oh, okay.
You understand? It is somebody reading the book, coming up with that thing and saying, this is what Einstein did, but you never saw it. But the book itself is still there. That is why I would say, when we embrace both, it's either a wake-up call, and it's also an insult. Both of them are working on the same side.
Okay.
So it's upon us now to demystify that analogy and come up with ways, measures that can counter that same statement.
Oh, sure. Just, talking about documentation, there's something that, you know, I don't want to say it does piss me off, yeah?
Yeah.
But it so much makes me uncomfortable when I go for meetings, when I go for, you know, mentorship sessions, when you are somewhere whereby you're getting information and, you know, someone doesn't have a book and a pen and a notebook, per se. Personally, it doesn't go well with me. I know we are all different, we are all unique in our ways. And I love you just to read this quote because it's something that I wrote so that we can get your opinion on the same. Now, this was mine say that there are two books always following after us. Number one is one to read and the other to write. And he said, if you are not a writer, okay, then it means you are equally not a learner. Why? Because the lesson you learn are to be documented. So even as we try to embrace this reading culture, what is your perspective on, you know, because I know there are some smart people, you know, when they can be in a meeting, they can be in a session, and they'll be able to capture one or two things. But what do you think about the issue of, should it be, as much as we are promoting the reading culture, should we also promote the writing part of it? That in certain meetings, in certain spaces that you find yourself, you should always have a book, you know, and a pen to write something on. Michelle, what do you think?
I think there will be a lot of personal bias on this. Because I write a lot.
Okay.
But take a perspective of maybe your photographers.
Yeah, sure.
They bring their cameras. They take visual memories.
Visual memories.
They record it visually.
That's documentation.
We have people with very, very beautiful, smart minds that just look at things and it sticks with them.
Yeah, sure.
But I think the whole argument on this should be, what are you doing with the information that you get from here?
Yeah, sure.
Write it in thousands and thousands of notebooks.
Okay.
You never put it in practice.
Yeah.
Zero.
Oh, okay.
Take million of pictures.
Yeah.
Put it in practice. Thanks for coming, at least.
Okay.
I think what Michelle is saying is quite right, because information without execution of what you would love to get out of it, it's just raw data for you. Because information well executed is like a blueprint for what you require carried for the future. Because we have someone today who, when they take the, let's say, the visual documentation, like what our team is doing today, you may realize that if that information is not going to be valued and put forth to meet a certain niche of people that need to hear about this information today, is as well as never having sat here and done what we are doing here. So information with execution, it's
also that becomes like a manifestation of what you are and what you've gathered.
What you've gathered.
Okay, I think it's in computer that they told us about data and information. Raw data, and then how you get into information and stuff like that. But for us to be able to see the manifestations of what we have read, if I've read that for me to get to number 5, I need to do 1, 2, 3. So that means if I don't apply the information I actually read, I cannot get to.
You cannot get the results.
So there are those who are moved by documenting and doing the action. There are those who are moved by, I got it and then I'm getting to action. Melchizedek, what do you think?
On the flip side, that's a nail on the head. On the flip side, I tend to think, and not to think, I tend to believe, because belief is relative. So I tend to believe that both can work symbiotically. At the same time, they cannot work. For instance, you might find in a place somebody who is very good at listening to the words somebody says. The person listens and keeps them in the memory. As a person. Then goes back down, sits down later alone, documents them. Those are some of the attributes that somebody has. And it brings me back to the point where I always tell myself, education is not just the learning of facts and figures. Education entails training your mind. You train your mind to think. And how do you train your mind? When you read, you train your mind. When you see, you train your mind. When you visualize, you train your mind. And when you speak out, you also train your mind. Because when you speak out, you actually speak what is in your mind. What you think. So that is where I bring it to a point in which I say, they can work symbiotically on one hand. On the other hand, they cannot work. Because we have very many people who don't even care about reading. If we fix it in a way that we need people to read and write, anyway, you graduate, you're told you have the power to read and write. But the power already was in the book.
The power was already in the book.
And just coming to, non-biased close to this argument. I think it's just beautiful and important that we get to document these things.
Exactly.
Our minds are quite technical and dynamic. I may not say that something that a conference I attended maybe 6 or 5 years ago still rings fresh in my mind. But if I ever bump into the notes, I made commitments, some things quite resonated with me. And right now, maybe I may not quite relate. If I bump into that, it sparks a fire up in me, which I think is a beautiful thing. You may not need to attend 1,000 of conferences for some change, but the ones you've already gone to can just bring influence and difference in very different times of your life.
Can you allow me to bring you on something? Just hold that thought, so that you see if you can just bring it on board. There's something with, right now we are getting back, resuming with education and stuff like that. And one of the challenges that we have actually had, especially in Africa, is education without integration. We've grown in a system whereby we've been taught things that, one, is not relevant to us as a nation or as a continent or as a people. For example, really,
Let's say it's not relevant.
Okay,
say it is not as per what you.
It is not applicable to us. I don't need
No. Guys, personal bias will still win here.
Okay,
but you need winter. You need winter, Owila. You're not going to live and die in Africa. Please.
It does not apply to us as Africans.
Please.
But what I'm trying to say is this. The greatest challenge we have in Africa, and especially in our education, is education without integration. And I think that is key, as much as we need winter and stuff. But that education without integration is really a challenge. Even as we resume back to the universities and our tertiary education, or primary or high school, whatever, how do we maximize on our education setup as a country?
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. We will find that right now, the key thing about life right now, there's been a tossing of issues from this organization to this organization. There's a lot of blame game.
Sure.
Maybe the Ministry of Education is not doing this. We as the Ministry of Health, you're not doing this. But maybe one baseline I would say this: it's easier to rise from failure to success than from excuses to success.
But just repeat that again.
Statement, please.
Just repeat that again so that our viewers can really get something out of it.
So what I would say is it is easier to raise from failure to success than excuses to success. Because at the cutting line of excuses is the inability to come out and execute the potentiality out of ideas which can be harnessed to help a nation, to help the world, and to help the universe.
Sure.
People who have invented, people who have made change and reforms in, let's say, education sector and which other sector, there are people who failed to give excuses.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome. Michelle, what do you think about that? I'll agree with you that we need winter, but personally I don't need winter information for now.
Now, building from that, I think excuses can be good for a period of time. But then just bring yourself down to the facts. Look for the main problem. What is the rot in our education system? How are we building on from there? How can we bring the integration? Is it really quite unnecessary completely? Or is it something beautiful that you can say a word winter?
Ezra, support me on this.
I like the statement she said. It is easier to rise from failure to success.
Yeah, we agree with that.
And when I asked her to state whatever is in between failure and success, I tend to believe it's consistency.
Okay.
The more you fail, then you rise.
Exactly.
The more you fail, you rise. But have you ever looked at it on the other side, that the more you have excuses, what happens?
You can never make
you get stagnated. You don't make a step.
Right?
Yeah, you'll be a person of murmuring, complaints, and seeing obstacles. But obstacles for any successful person, they give you a reason to go through, under, over, or whichever end for you to come.
Over, or whichever. So there's a way some solutions comes.
Same applies to this.
Okay.
The more you keep yourself reading, the more you grow smarter.
Yes.
This is now the honest truth.
The more
you keep yourself in reading, the more you keep yourself in harnessing information, the more you keep yourself in looking for that information that you need, the specific thing that you need to feed your mind, the more you become smarter.
Okay.
So if we also integrate that space of the urge to have information in yourself, let us also have the space of allowing these ideas to cultivate themselves through the education system.
Ezron, allow me to bring you now in this context, even as we start this other conversation. It's good that all of us have hard copy books today, and I mean, the room is filled with that. But we know where the education system is headed to ever since even Corona started. People are going into online education, online learning and stuff like that, which is a good opportunity, you know, for us moving ahead. It has been said over and over again that you can't fight technology. How do we ensure that we sustained hard copy books moving ahead? And maybe the question would be, are we going to see a generation whereby this will be extinct and will be all online, or are we going to see a generation whereby this will still be there?
Okay. Let me start by saying a funny statement. The fix is in. No matter how many popsicles you try to turn into juices, it is constant. The books are there.
Okay.
100%. You will never eliminate the books. Even our able Vice Chancellor, Professor Awudo, on his thesis about integrating online learning and the normal face-to-face system.
Sure.
He said we are not saying that we're going to eliminate.
Which we can't do.
We can't do because it has to be there. There are some things that definitely has to be done by the books. Same comes to the question that you've asked me, because we cannot pave a way and say that we do not need these books.
Exactly.
First of all, these books, if you know, she reminded me of something when she came aboard, that she loves the smell of the books.
Yes.
And I figured out when you keep books, a lot of them, for quite a while, they become damp, they remove some smell.
And they test
figured out, I figured out, is this smell nice?
Okay.
Does this smell trigger something in her to have the knowledge?
Okay.
Does this smell change an attitude in her? Okay. So you see, it has various ways of depicting itself. So when he told me about the smell, I figured out, if you just have a book, the smell, somebody's attracted by the smell, somebody's attracted by the color, somebody's attracted by how they are arranged, somebody's attracted by
even the titles,
even the titles,
the author.
Because you know, somebody like me, I'm attracted to things about war and strategies. Because I believe in this life is a war. It's not a fight. It's a war between you, yourself, and the people that surround you.
And your environment.
So if you have the information that you need to study, that you need to read, that you need to come out of, why not pick it?
Even as we wind up, you know, with our conversation today, there's a great man, you know, who was going to be the Lord by the name T.L. Osborne. He said something, and I read as I quote, He said that if you stop learning, you start dying.
Of course.
If you stop learning, you start dying. Kakai, what do you think about that statement?
It's all about how the mind is. So, if you stop eating.
Okay. Now you brought it, so we can't stop.
You see,
so
it's the same thing.
So you shouldn't stop reading.
What eating is to us as human beings and to the belly is what actually learning is to our mind.
Our mind.
And I think Ezron, even as you come in, because you stay in your mind. Ezron, as you come in, even with that statement, one of the things that actually learning does and books does is to be able to grow ourselves mentally. So if you really want to grow your mind, you know, you engage reading and meditation, you engage, you know, thinking and training. What do you think about that statement? If you stop learning, you start dying.
Of course, not dying literally.
Exactly.
Yes,
so just to give
you die in various aspects. Emotionally, you might die. You might go down. Spiritually, you might go down. Also, mind-wise, you might go down because you see, at the end of the day, it's always mind over matter.
Exactly.
Even if when you're going through a recovery, your mind should be set to that recovery. So if you don't set your mind to the recovery, I think you will deteriorate because it is very important.
I think it's key because books help you think, and as you think, so you become.
Yes.
Books nurture you.
Exactly.
Books build you. Books put you in a position where you have the knowledge and the information. Michelle,
I just wanted you to first capture something about that line by T.L. Osborne. that if you stop learning, you start dying. What do you think of that in relation to what
I think if your mind is dead, you're pretty much dead.
Okay.
As much as we'd want to dispute that, you're pretty much dead. Imagine.
Yeah, I mean, the mind is powerful.
Why would you walk around and not see other people's perspectives because your mind is dead?
Okay.
Why would you walk around and not be able to contribute in any of the discussions around?
Yeah.
Because all you can say is watch. How I think you pretty much dead, and our minds.
That line is not really good. I mean,
our minds.
No, you know when let me just mention this. Let me just mention this in a few, because when we saw the Lulu Hassan and the couple come out with some good kitchen dresses, and some of us we love African attire. This word of what our channel too, is it something that comes out of ignorance or what?
Well, it's a sweet line. I would want to give a disclaimer and say I use it a lot.
Okay, let's preserve that for the next. Now, even as we end up this session today, we have realized something about books that are really, books makes your imagination to soar. Books are able to make you achieve your goals. Books makes you think. Books makes you creative. And books are also reference points, which is key. And just starting from Michelle, even as we ladies first. Today we are celebrating many African authors within us. We've had the likes of Chinua Achebe, we've had the likes of Chimamanda Ngozi, who are still with us. We've had the likes of Aminata Fora, we've had the likes of Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I won't forget one of my mentors by the name Bishop David Oyedepo, because I lead a lot of his books. And Michelle, just your closing remarks, and if you can also recommend a book for our viewers.
I think I'd want to give an icebreaker before we go.
Okay.
I'd want my friends here to add with a chainsaw to the end as the closing statement, but start with the name of the last book you read.
Wow.
That should be fun, right?
Yeah.
I read this book as my last one. It's called Another Day in the Frontal Lobe by Katerina Falik. She's a neurosurgeon. Yeah. So if I add with a chainsaw, it will say Another Day in the Frontal Lobe with a chainsaw. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I think just recently, some few days ago, I think John Maxwell, about a 360 leader. It's an amazing book, and I quote, there's a quote she's written in it by Warren Buffett. It says, sometimes it's not how hard you row the boat, it's how fast the stream is going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last book I read was, actually it has taken me from January to read the book.
Yeah.
It's called What the Night Knows.
With a chainsaw.
So What the Night Knows with a chainsaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the book, it's quite awesome. Not recommended for below 18 years, if I would say.
Yeah.
But you can read it.
But you can read it if you want. And also, it brings out the mental perspective of human nature, which I love most, because everything is done in the dark in the book. But do you realize the moment you step out of the light, what happens? You shut down your eyes, you open them, you have some trick in yourself, right?
Yeah, true.
Yes, the book is quite intriguing and it's quite touching. And I would also recommend a book. This book is very nice. It's called Playing to Win. How strategy really works. Because most people tend to believe that strategy is just strategy. They don't even know what strategy is. So strategy is a different thing. One, it's a vision, it's a mission. It's going against the status quo. It is a plan. It's a lot of things.
You can let the cameras see the book
So
that you're recommending.
it's a lot of things. It's a very nice book that I love, and I do not know if people would really love them, but it's the best book I would say right now in Kenya, because it brings some sense in me. It brings some sense in a lot of things that I undertake myself. So it is much better if we grow our mental capability through reading first, because as we say, your first mentor is your parent, your second is your teacher, and I believe your third is the books you read, whatever you feed your mind, from which people, from whoever they come from what they say, because you cannot meet them physically.
To any young girl out there listening, you can read Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Eat, Pray, and Love.
Eat, Pray, and Love.
Why doesn't the book start with Pray, Eat, Love?
It is just in that sequence. Hula, Omba,
all the
Penda.
ladies, exactly.
Simple.
So that is it
Eat,
for
Pray,
ladies,
Love,
and
Elizabeth
I think that is
Gilbert.
it for today. It was a great conversation, you know, just books, mentorship, and just how we can continue to build ourselves. So basically, even as I end, also I think the last book I read was Wisdom for Wealth, of course.
With a chainsaw.
By Pastor Joe Wisdom. It's just based there in need. So 3 books recommended to you this day are white, red, and green. We have Eat, Pray, and Love by Michelle.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert, yeah. And this also recommended for all the ladies, you know, that are watching. And then we have John C. Maxwell. This is one of my mentors in the field of leadership. Also, you know, recommended by Kakai. So especially if you're in leadership, I also really recommend this book. It will be a blessing. And then lastly, the book that is Play to Win, recommended by Ezra, The Green Nature. So please, among other things, you can find books in line with your passion. And remember, as we said, that you don't need to meet your mentors in person. You can meet them through books. You can meet them in the internet. You can meet them through tapes. You can meet them through CDs and stuff like that. Thank you. God bless you. See you another time.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.